You worked for this, the promotion, the degree, the recognition, and yet, instead of pride, there's a quiet panic. A strange thought whispering, they're going to realize I don't belong here. You smile in the meeting. But inside, you feel like you snuck in through a back door. Why does success feel like exposure? And why does your mind react to achievement like it's a threat? It doesn't look dramatic from the outside. You show up. You perform. You deliver. But internally, something feels off. You reread emails 3 times before sending them. You over-prepare for simple conversations. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. And when someone compliments you, you immediately deflect. It was nothing. Anyone could have done it, but not really anyone. You did it. Still, your brain refuses to update. This isn't just insecurity. It's an identity conflict. Psychology calls this a form of impostor phenomenon, but that label is too simple. What's really happening is deeper. Your achievements are moving forward. Your self-image is not. In cognitive psychology, your brain builds a self-schema, a mental blueprint of who you are. Maybe yours was built years ago, when you felt overlooked, underestimated, behind, and self-schemas are stubborn. They're not updated by one event, or even 10. So when reality shifts, when you succeed, your identity doesn't immediately follow. And that gap feels like fraud. But here's the deeper tension. If you accept success, you have to become someone new. And becoming someone new is psychologically threatening. Why? We'll get there. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're not dramatic. Your brain is trying to protect you. What you're feeling is an adaptation. At some point, seeing yourself as not enough was safer. Maybe it kept you humble. Maybe it kept you striving. Maybe it kept you prepared. In behavioral psychology, this is called a protective identity loop. If you assume you're not fully capable, you stay alert. You over-prepare. You avoid risks that might expose you. It feels painful, but it also feels safe. Because if you never fully claim success, you never fully risk losing it. And that's where this gets interesting. Your brain doesn't just fear failure. It fears instability, and success is unstable. Let's break this down. Your brain is a prediction machine. In neuroscience, the brain constantly predicts what will happen next based on past experience. This is called predictive processing. It prefers familiarity over accuracy. If your past experience taught you, I'm average, I struggle, I'm behind, then your brain predicts a future that matches that identity. Now imagine you suddenly succeed. Your external reality says, you're capable, but your internal model says, that's not consistent. And when prediction and reality don't match, your brain experiences something called prediction error. Prediction error feels uncomfortable, like cognitive static. So what does your brain do? It tries to reduce the error. There are 2 options. Update your identity. Dismiss the success. Updating identity requires rewriting a deep neural pathway. That takes energy. Dismissing success is easier. So your brain says, it was luck. They overestimated me. I just fooled them. This restores internal consistency, even if it distorts reality. Here's a metaphor. Imagine your identity as a thermostat. It's set to moderate self-worth. When success raises the temperature, confidence, recognition, growth, the thermostat kicks in. It cools you down. Self-doubt becomes the air conditioning. Not because you deserve it, but because your system is trying to return to familiar settings. And here's the twist. If you grew up needing to earn validation, your nervous system may associate success with pressure. Pressure to maintain it. Pressure not to disappoint. So success doesn't feel like relief. It feels like surveillance. Now you're being watched. And being watched means being judged. So your brain chooses the safer identity. Still not quite enough. because if you're still becoming, you don't have to defend being there. But what if the discomfort isn't proof you're fake? What if it's proof your identity hasn't caught up? This isn't solved with affirmations. It's solved by slowly retraining the prediction system. Here's how. 1. Separate performance from identity. What to do? After any success, write one sentence. This result came from specific behaviors. Why it works. Cognitive psychology shows that attributing outcomes to controllable behaviors builds internal locus of control. It updates the brain's model with evidence-based links. Example, instead of, "They were just being nice," write, "I prepared thoroughly and asked clear questions." This gives your brain data, not flattery. 2. Track repeated evidence. What to do? Create a simple evidence log of small wins. Why it works. Neural pathways strengthen through repetition. One success feels like an anomaly. Patterns feel like identity. Example, 3 weeks of consistent performance. Multiple positive responses. Repeated outcomes. Now your brain can't dismiss it as luck. You're building statistical proof. 3. Normalize identity lag. What to do? When you feel fake, say, "My self-image is updating." Why it works. Labeling an emotional state reduces amygdala activity. This is called affect labeling in neuroscience. It calms threat response. Example, in a meeting, heart racing, you think, "This is identity lag, not exposure." The sensation softens. You stay present. 4. Expand, don't replace, your identity. What to do? Instead of "I'm confident now," try, "I'm someone who's learning to handle bigger rooms." Why it works. Personality research shows identity shifts stick better when they're gradual. Your brain resists abrupt rewrites. It accepts expansions. Example, you're not pretending to be someone new. You're growing into a wider version of yourself. That feels safer. 5. Tolerate the exposure feeling. What to do? Don't immediately soothe or dismiss the discomfort. Sit with it for 60 seconds. Why it works. Exposure therapy principles show that staying with mild discomfort teaches the nervous system it's not dangerous. Example, you receive praise. Instead of deflecting, you say, "Thank you," and let the awkwardness exist. Over time, the thermostat resets. Here's the mental model. Success isn't threatening. Rapid identity change is. Your brain is conservative. It protects familiar stories. Think of your identity like software running in the background. Achievements are updates. But updates don't install automatically. They need confirmation, repetition, integration. The discomfort you feel isn't evidence that you don't belong. It's the friction of growth, the system recalibrating. And that recalibration takes time. You're not fake. You're early in the process of becoming. The version of you that succeeds is real. It just hasn't fully moved in yet. So the next time that whisper appears, they'll find out.